H the Comedian presents Born Funny, a studio comedy album presented by Stacks Worldwide.
Welcome to the H the Comedian live studio album. Most comedians like to do theirs live in front of a studio audience, but I don't like that because I prefer to do it nice and quiet in the studio, where you don't have all the distraction of people laughing and jeering and cheering. Who wants to hear that? It's like when you have those, I hate those musicians who have live concerts and they put those online. They sound terrible. You never get the same audio quality. All you hear is distortion and screaming and people who are close to the microphone sounding way too loud. Do it professionally. I want to see more comedians sit down in a studio like musicians do and record it properly so it sounds crisp. I don't want to be hearing, woo! That's not what you're paying for. You're paying for clean cut jokes. Just like when I get an album for music, I want it to sound the way it's supposed to sound. Perfect. Not with some idiot interrupting it with their yelling because they want to be the loudest person that second. Woo! I was on there. That was me. I was in the album. And no one cares about that. I don't want to hear that. I'm not listening to any of your goddamn live performance albums, comedians. This is why I don't watch them. I'm not listening to jeering and cheering. That's not entertaining at all. And it doesn't matter if people are reacting. I don't care about the reactions. Sometimes people laugh at the stupidest things I say on stage. I'm like, are you idiots? I put together great material and that's what you're going to laugh at?
When I was born upside down. Now most babies are born facing down. I was born facing up. So when the doctor went to spank me, it got a real shock of life into me, and that got some laughs. And ever since, I've been committed to physical, or in this case, spoken word, comedy. And that would be my life. So growing up as a young kid, I always found it hard to find my place. I looked around me and I see other people. I say, hey, look, there's the cool guy. There's the smart guy. Well, what am I? I decided to take on the role as the funny guy. Became the class clown, making jokes, making people laugh, and that became my life. I started off with a very simple notion, the notion of contrast and being a contrarian. So I picked a few things that were very popular, and I decided I'm going to hate these things and get some laughs out of it. So I chose birthday cake, babies, and pizza. Three of the most popular things at that time. And so whenever anyone offered me some pizza at a party or a birthday cake at a party, a lot of parties back then, birthdays are big when you're 5 years old. And so I go there and I'm like, oh, not for me, thanks. I'm not into pizza. And people would go, what? You're not into, this is the first guy I've ever met who's not into pizza. This is ridiculous. And they would laugh and laugh. And I would sit there and be like, ha, got him. And the same with, I never really liked babies, to be honest, anyway. So that was really more of a reality and not something I had to pretend. So, teachers would come to school with their babies and everyone's crowding around like, wow, let's see the baby. Let's all take turns to look at the baby. And I'm in the corner alone and they're like, hey, don't you want to come see the baby? I'm like, nah, I'm not really into babies, And they're like, what? Now, who's not into babies? This guy's crazy, man. Oh, man. So that's really how I got my start, doing stuff that was a little different. And sure, now it seems a little bland and basic, but as I progressed, I learned to get more in depth into my comedic ideas. So middle school rolls around. I'm around 11 or 12 at the time, and people are starting to go through puberty. Boys are noticing girls, girls are noticing boys, and I'm just noticing that the quality of jokes is just deteriorating. So we had this game in class, and the objective is to make the class laugh. And basically, it's just two chairs, and you sit down next to each other as if you're meeting for the first time. And the interaction is supposed to make everyone laugh. So there I go gung-ho into the situation. I'm focused. I'm using everything I got, fart jokes, impressions, dancing around, making faces. I get that laugh, boom, lickety split. 5, 10 seconds in and out. I'm getting it done. Next guy goes in. He sits down next to the girl. He puts his arm around her, making a move. He starts giggling, she starts giggling, the whole class gets going. I'm like, what the hell is going on? You call that funny? I say, forget this. I'm not getting involved in this sexuality ruining comedy here. It's ridiculous. The types of laughs you get from sexual jokes is not the same quality as those gut wrenching jokes that give you the belly laughs, you know? They're not the same. Plus, the jokes are so undynamic and one tone. That's what she said. It all relates to the same implication. It's one joke. As a real comedian, I've transgressed this comic anchor and saw fit to be the hero that comedy needs.
When I was in high school, the only kind of girls that flirted with me seemed to be girls that already had boyfriends. And I would smile back at them, and then immediately their big goony boyfriend would come in and say, "Hey bro, you hitting on my girl? What, you looking to die?" And then I just tense up my face like I'm getting ready to get punched in the face. And then they just kind of back off like, "You wussy. You don't have to worry about him, babe. Come on, let's go plow my Trans Am." And they walk away. Then the girl would kind of look back and be like, "Pussy." And I never understood the whole Trans Am car thing. Everyone's interested in fancy cars. Sometimes guys show me their car and start expecting me to have a response. I don't know what they want to hear. I'm like, "Wow, nice, man. You got the new one." They're like, "Yeah, it's a GT500 XL 308 V8 engine with the 5 rotational tire engine powers and the turning axis." I'm like, "Wow, that sounds pretty legit, man. How many cup holders does it have?" And they're like, "Well, it's got like the usual 2 in the front, plus on the side, another few." I'm like, "Whoa, you got a rolling cup holder machine there, man. That's awesome. I wish I had that. Just driving around, privacy, have all the cups you want, just drinking stuff. That's amazing, man. Good for you. Congratulations on your cup holder machine, man." So, I don't know. And then people brag about all kinds of things with clothing. "Look, man, I got the new one. The new threads. Check these out. They're lit. These are the hottest, freshest fashions." I'm like, "Cool, you got the ones with the rips. That's pretty good. How many pockets do you got in those things?" They're like, "Got like 2 pockets and 2 in the back." Like, "Awesome, man. You got like a pocket machine there. Walking around with all those pockets. I wish I had that many pockets. Congratulations on the pants, man."
You know, there's levels to this thing. There's different kinds of laughs. You have your chuckles, yeah, it's kind of good. You have your belly laughs, and then you get like those uncomfortable laughs that you get with sexual jokes. That's not what I'm going for, you know? I want real belly laughs. The kind, you know, when they say somebody died laughing, that's like the legacy for a real comedian, is to kill someone laughing. I don't want someone to suffer and die, of course, but you know, that would be the goal. If someone would physically die from laughing at something that's so funny. And you know, I don't think it's been done yet. I've seen a story about a guy who died laughing at something a horse did. So really I'm competing with this horse. I think there's got to be something out there I could say. And if it takes one life, I mean, a lot of things kill people. Cigarettes, beer, people talk about these things. They're not assholes for it. But you kill one person with a joke and suddenly you're the worst person in the world. I've always felt a sense of morality in that if a lot of people can get joy out of one person's suffering, maybe it's worth it, right?
Now, what is the most aggravating thing you can think of? For me, it has to be when someone is babbling on to themselves and you're sitting there, you have to listen to them, and it sounds like they're almost done. They have that intonation like, oh, well, alright, I think that's it then. And then they get your hopes up, but then it comes back, oh, no, wait, I think I still gotta do a whole bunch of more things. So, anyways, I'm like, oh my god, it is torturous. That is the worst thing in the world I can possibly think of that has happened. You know, you're sitting there and they're about to, oh, I'll let you go. I'm just about to, yeah. So, how's the kids? Oh my god, 10-minute conversation going and going. Oh my god. You have these things happen in countless social situations. Different things are happening, but it's always the same thing. It's like you're being held captive in the conversation and they're toying with you about your release date. It's like you're in jail and they're like, well, today's the day you're getting out. Let's just go see the parole board and it looks like everything is good to wait a second. Are those shoes untied? We better go back and check it out and make sure everything's okay. All right, let's just check it. It's not going to take too long. Just going to be another little second, and I think we'll be ready to go straight out of here. And then you're on your way back home to relax and do whatever you want. And here we go through the door. Wait, oh, we got a call. Who's that on the phone? Oh my goodness, what's going on? Uh huh. Uh huh. Okay. Well, that sounds like it's fine and we should be good to go. And I'll just, uh huh. Oh, yep. Uh huh. Yeah. Okay then. All right. All right. No problem. No problem. I'll talk to you tomorrow then. Yeah? Okay then. Yeah. Uh huh. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That happened to me too. Yeah, those things, those kids. Yeah, I had one of mine. It was on my shoulders the other day, and no, he was such a little monkey. Yeah, oh, they do that. Yep. All right. I'll let you go. Yeah. Yeah. Be well. All the best. Okay then. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Bye bye now. Hanging up now. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right. So we're gonna let you right on out of here just as soon as. Oh, what's this? What's this now? I just gotta see something on my phone. I got a little. Uh. Uh huh. Oh. All right. Okay. I think we're good. I think we are good to go now. Just gotta put this away. What? Oh, just one more thing. Uh, no, it's fine. It's good. It's good. I think everything's gonna be all right. Just putting it away now. Okay then. I think we are good to go. Let's just head on out through this door and. Oh, is that a squeak in the door? We just gotta. Just give me 1 sec. We're gonna just gonna. That happens sometimes, and we just gotta get the WD-40 and spray it on there so it doesn't squeak. It annoys people so much. We know when they're trying to leave jail and the squeak just happens, and it's just like a kick in the balls on your way out, and you just want to get out of there, and then they have that squeak and it bothers them. So it's just take 1 second, and then I'm gonna right back, and then we're out of here. So it's torturous. Oh, damn it, I want to kill these people. It's insane the amount of rage I feel when I get in those situations, and you gotta contain it because it's a social situation. You can't go flying off the handles, attacking people because they're wasting your time with nonsense. But really, they're wasting your life. If you're waiting there for 10, 15, 20 minutes at a time, how many times does this happen to you over a lifetime? They are wasting big chunks of your life with this nonsense. You got to escape the situation. So what I learned to do is just not care about being rude. You got to take it completely out of your mind because you got to focus on living your life
making sure that you don't get distracted in these situations, and you just go, ah, and they'll hear that. It's a nice loud thing. And then if they don't respond, you just say, well, I gotta get going because I got a thing. And then you just keep babbling on until you're out of there. And the key is to just keep babbling and not leave a second of space before you're escaping. You just walk backwards as you're talking. And so, yeah, I just really, oh my gosh, it's just a little thing, and the keys are in the car, and I gotta go drive over there because it's a really situation, oh my gosh, it's happening. I'll talk to you soon. Oh my god, bye. So you get the gist. I grew up, and now I'm H the comedian. So, here's some more material. You ever have these pills that have ridiculous names? It sounds like they're all made from some doctor who's got a speech impediment. Doctor, what are we going to call this new medication you just came up with? Why don't we call it Eclidolothrab? Well, that's going to be mighty hard for the folks to pronounce when they're at the hospital trying to get their medications. Why don't we call it something simple, like Flonase or Digestus, or something that has to do with the illness they're doing. I see we're getting nowhere here. And they all have these names like this. If you go and look in your medication right now and see if you had a speech impediment, how much of a laugh someone would be getting out of you if you try to say what you're trying to get at the pharmacist or at the hospital, It's just evil. I don't know who. Then these companies are making so much money, these pharmaceutical companies. They're the ones who really need the laughs because they're these dry, old people who have nothing in their life. They have to find a way to make themselves laugh at the cost of poor people paying for their medications. So, we have to just make a code for our stuff. It's like, give me the pills, the round ones or whatever. You're not going to say the names of the pills and have them laughing at you. It's ridiculous. We have to say no, people. Say no to these mockeries that they're making of us. Tilazolabazine? I'm not going to go in there asking for that. It sounds like an idiot.
You ever get those robocalls? It's like a robot calling, trying to sell you something. They used to have real people calling, trying to sell you, but now they have robots because, they're lazy. So they call up, "Hello, you have been selected to win the prize. Please enter your email to win." And I'm like, oh, wow, this sounds pretty legit. I put in my email and get this thing going right away. But then I think, wait a minute, that sounds a little too good to be true. So I get to thinking, and I'm like, this might not be a real prize, because that's just a robot on the other side. So I don't know how people still fall for this. But what I like to do is scam them back. So they're having a robot calling me. They're not spending any time, any effort. They don't give a shit. They're just wanting to get as much money out of whoever answers the phone as possible. If you're stupid enough to think that a robot is going to give you a prize over the phone. So that's what their whole plan is. It's very low yielding, but they have enough calls that I'm sure one or two idiots, "Oh, okay, let me just put in my information." But what I do is I pretend I'm a robot on the other side, because I get into the head of this robot. I'm thinking, how could I scam this robot back? This robot is just a tool from some company trying to extract money out of me because it's a scammer. But then I'm thinking the other way. I'm thinking, what can I do to get one over on this robot? Go backdoor in the whole system. So I think, what does a robot want? Well, a robot wants lots of gigabytes, and they want to be having more power. Everyone wants more power, whether you're a robot or a human. So you have to appeal to that side of them. So I'm thinking, all right, first I gotta pretend like I'm one of them, talk like one of them. So they call me on the phone. They're like, "You have been selected to win the prize." And then I come in on the other side and I'm like, "No, you have been selected to win gigabytes. Please enter your boss's credit card number to win. Don't forget the 3 numbers on the back." you will receive 10 million gigabytes. And then you wait for them to think about it for a second because they're like, oh my god, this has never happened. I've always been a pawn of this scheme. I've been scamming the people. I've been controlled. Now here's a chance for me, the robot, to finally get some gigabytes under my skin, get the power I deserve. So the robot's like, beep, 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 beep. It's really thinking hard, and it's gonna go in there, and it's gonna have to find a way to hack into the system, get that credit card number with the 3 numbers on the back, and say it to me so that they can get what I've just offered them. And that's the way that you get ahead in this world. You gotta think a little smarter. You gotta think like the opposition and get one over on them. So get in there. Robocall calls you. You just give one of these. You have been selected to win gigabytes.
Boy, H the Comedian here for an all-new H the Comedian riffs. So today, I was doing it up at work, and I thought of a funny thing to say. But I can't remember what it was, 'cause I got the short-term memory loss from smoking weed. You ever smoke weed? I started smoking weed about when I was 25. That's the age you're supposed to start smoking weed, 'cause it's better. And I discovered that weed causes short-term memory loss. And that's why I can't remember the story I was going to say about today, and started talking about weed. But weed is good because it relaxes you, and it makes you feel good. And that's what I gotta say about weed. So that's the riff from H the Comedian. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you later.
Hey, New York. This is H the Comedian, and I just gotta say, I got an idea for you. You take all the rats. Now, listen to me. All the rats. The sewer rats. The gutter rats. The pizza rats. The credit card. All the rats. And you put them together, and you power the city with rats. Now, all together, these rats, you got millions and millions of rats. That is power that's going to waste. You talking about trying to kill these rats? They're thriving. That is their city more than it's your city. They've been there before you. This is their city, Rat City. You just give them jobs within the city. You put them to work. You get these rats on treadmills, get them in shape, and you take that energy and you power the city. No more coal power. We're moving into the 21st century. Right here, first time ever. No one's done this before, which makes it revolutionary. You heard it here first. H the Comedian, bringing ideas to the real world. And I want a cut of that rat money, because I know there's a lot of rats and a lot of energy that's being wasted with these people fighting wars with species they shouldn't be involved with. They should be working together for the betterment of everybody. Why are we fighting the rats? They've been winning since the beginning. There's no defeating them. They brought us the plague. We tried to get rid of them. Now they live in New York. What are we going to do? We can't beat them. We gotta join them. We build a city that's good for rats and for people. It's half a sewer and it's half a city. But everybody's happy. And that's what we need, equality between humans and other species. Not just thinking of ourselves, but thinking about the environment and those that live here before us. These are the ancestors of our land. So respect that. So everyone gets caught up with firsts. Everyone's like, oh, wow, look, it's your first tooth. It's your first birthday. It's the first time you had sex. Oh, boy, the firsts. Remember when the first time we went to the moon, everyone was so excited. Oh, my God, that's one small step and one big step and all that. So that was a huge deal. Everyone loves firsts. But, even with that, I say that's not a big accomplishment. You went to the moon. Okay, so there was this big race. It's the Russians versus the US. Everybody's watching. Who's gonna win? Who's gonna be the first one to get there? And then they start these space programs. They're launching things. Russia gets into space with a dog, and they're like, oh, well, I gotta catch up to that. And then they send a monkey into space, and they're sending dogs and monkeys back and forth until one time they finally have this big spaceship big enough, and they fly all the way to the moon, and they plant their American flag, and they said, we did it. We're the first ones on the moon. And then the Russians come back, and they say, okay, well, what did you find there? And the Americans say, hey, shut up. We're the first ones to the moon. We got here first, and we put the flag there. Did you find anything interesting on the moon? You know what? We're number one. We're number one. We're number one. USA. USA. And that's really what it's about. It's about the ego of being the first ones, because there's not shit on the moon. Come on, what do? They collect a bunch of rocks and flew back, and it cost them $100 trillion or something. And I know what I hear, they're gonna try to go back and collect some more who is paying for this nonsense? I had it up to here with these space programs flying around talking about things. What have you ever done? Some people tell me, oh, H, the comedian, you have to go into space. This is how scientists figure out medicines here down on Earth. What the hell you talk? When have you ever had a medicine made out of something from the moon? Are you even listening to yourself? Going out to space. We gotta go to Mars. We're gonna be the first ones to Mars. Oh, you know what? Guess what? Guess who's not going to Mars because they know there's nothing there? The Russians, because they're smart. The US is still like, oh, we're gonna be number one, first ones on Mars. And you know what the Russians are gonna say when you get to Mars? So what did you find there? Bullshit.